You're listening to the Shipyard Cat Podcast, the unofficial SAFC podcast for fans everywhere.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the pod. We're here today to talk about the up-and-coming game on Sunday where we take on the visitors. If people that don't know who that is Newcastle, who also got beat on Wednesday 7-2, just saying. But joining me to discuss this up-and-coming game, we have Robin and we have Kev. Kev, how are we doing today, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. I mean, obviously, when they played us at our place, they were the visitors. So we can't really call them the visitors this time because we are the visitors. But yeah, I wonder what they will call us on their scoreboard. I mean, they've only got the one, haven't they, that's in the roof of the away end. So only us will be able to see it.
I mean, I don't really think they can call us anything because we've done that, and it would just seem like they're copying us, and their fans wouldn't have that. They'd get a bit of stick for it. But yeah, I mean, I suppose it's home team versus Sunderland this weekend.
Good point. I like
For
that.
those that are interested, that's Robin joining us as well. Robin, you've just came back off the 7 a.m. till 2 p.m. finish today. How are we doing?
7 a.m. till 4 p.m. You mean? I'd love to finish at 2 p.m. on a Friday. Jeez, man. No, I'm good. I'm obviously looking forward to the weekend. Obviously, the banter started with me and a few of the dirty lot from up the road.
That's excellent. So let's kick off proceedings straight away then. Obviously, this is a big game going into it. At current standings, obviously, yes, there's just a couple of points between us, so nothing major. But what I want to start off with straight away is surely the lads' confidence has got to be sky high going into this and going, right, let's get at them from minute one.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to. I mean, look, I think they've shown defensively they're weak. Look, I don't expect the same team that got embarrassed. I mean, they embarrassed the entire country and league on Wednesday night. I don't think they'll put the same team out there. They went for pure speed up top, which obviously would cause us a problem with obviously Alanga and Claire Balding, but they are very weak defensively. They've got holes all over the place. I mean, I know you're going to touch on the players later who we got coming back and who may be back and who maybe not. But I just hope that, the main one to me is Enzo. We need to have his creativity in the team. That's the important one to me. And I think if Enzo's there, I think we've got a good chance of putting a few past them.
No, I got to agree with Robin on this one. Yeah, that was a bit of a poor performance from them, to be polite about it. I'm surprised San Marino weren't on Twitter asking to play them this week, but obviously they decided not to bait them this time round. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of these moments of, I think we need the tricky players on the pitch. So the likes of Joe Linton have their moments of madness, if that makes sense. He's not the most talented footballer, to say the least, but he likes his thuggish approach. And, if you've got players that are tricky, they're going to frustrate him, they're going to wind him up. That's what we need. We need to have players that will get under their skin. All I've heard at work, because obviously where I work, it's heavily scum based. And all I've heard is how, Paul is the best left back in the league. He's got to be England's number one. Trippier is the best right back in the league. He's got to be England's number one. I've just been hearing about how their defence is the best thing since sliced bread. They must have all forgotten what happened on Wednesday night, but that's what it is for me. I think we just need to hopefully have players back that can cause trouble.
I mean, if I could just touch on something you said there, Kev, quickly, Adam. Sorry, mate. But obviously, I don't think San Marino could bait them this week because obviously Newcastle are the master of baiting. So they had to leave that one alone, I guess. I mean, my mate said to me as well that, obviously they've gone from have you ever seen the Maccabi in Milan to have you ever seen the Maccabi in Barcelona, which I did actually have to tell him that they never turned up either, so I've not seen a Geordie there.
Well, if the Sky Sports and Sky Sports News interviews are anything to go by, even their own team think they're going to beat the Geordies. So I think they're predicting a Voldemort own goal again.
That was funny. That was funny when I saw that on Sky Sports. That poor
Yeah.
bloke. I bet he's absolutely been rinsed for that.
As Robin will back me up, he was probably a Durham mag.
He probably was a Durham mag, and it's like the things just seem like, flags with FTM on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And because they don't know what FTM means and stuff, they think it means follow the mags. It's yeah.
Oh, that I was going to say was that was picked up by one of the. There's a lad on TikTok, isn't there, Jake?
Yeah.
A certain generation of the fans that have only joined realistically since the Saudi takeover, who don't understand what means these days, and I think they've just had a stinker, haven't they?
Exactly.
Yeah, they are a special breed.
That's one word for them, shall we say, since we're family friendly. But no, you touching on players there, guys, of the tricky players we need back and things like that. Let's get straight into that then. Obviously, we're talking about Regis's comments today where he was asked about those that are injured and things like that, of what can we expect. One, as we always know, Regis plays his cards close to his chest. He doesn't want to let on too much information, because to me he's quite old school in that mantra of like, I'm not giving my secrets away to those who be, because then they'll know how to play against me. But from what we understand, obviously the likelihood, there's no Jocelyn Tarby. He's out for the season, as we understand. Traore is out as well. I believe he's possibly out for the rest of the season, based on from what I'm hearing. Or is he due back possibly like before or just before the end of the season? I'm not sure. But the one thing he did allude to was there is going to be some late assessments for those who were missing last week. So that sounds to me that's going to be for Ballard, because obviously Ballard did take a hefty knock against Brighton. We're looking at the likes of Enzo. We're looking at the likes of Ronaldo, Nordi, Roofs. These all players, to me personally, I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. These are all quintessential part of the first team, and if they're remotely fit, I think they'll be thrown straight in and go for it and see what you can do.
Well, Regis did say as well that the decisions with the medical stuff, and he also said they won't take risks. We've still got after this, there's 7 games. We've still got a lot to play for. We can still make Europe. Every place we're higher in the Premier League, you get quite a bit more money, which will come in very handy. So look, we've got the 40 points. We're not happy with the 40 points. To me, I think we've got to go all out. But this is the most important game of the season. What's left? We've got the 40 points now. Personally, I can't see West Ham, Forest, Tottenham or Leeds picking up enough points to overtake us. Obviously, Wolves and Burnley are as good as down anyway. It would need an absolute miracle for either one of them to survive. So basically, to me, the last place is taken up from them 4 teams that I said. I think we are quite safe. But obviously, I'd love to get higher. I'd love a top half finish. Starting this weekend, if we can pick up a win there, it's going to be massive. You look at the impact that the result from Wednesday night could have on them. It could work 2 ways. It could either toughen them up and give them a bit of metal.
Yeah.
But if we score an early goal, they might absolutely crumble.
Yeah.
It's a hard place to go. I will give them credit where it is due. They have made it quite a tough place to go.
I thought you meant in general there, Kev. I didn't realise you meant the football ground.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you're not wrong. But no, I think in terms of from Wednesday, how's it going to have impacted them? I think Robin's absolutely hit the nail on the head. They're either going to be demotivated and down because they've been absolutely embarrassed, or feisty, thinking we now need to go and embarrass somebody. But for me, I just think, as you said, with the injuries, Regis has done the exact right thing. You're not going to tell everybody and anybody what your team sheet's going to be. It still annoys me that the journalists try and get that answer. He's not going to turn around and go, yeah, Ballard's out, Nordy's out, Roof's out, Xhaka's 50-50, Isidor's out, Robbie's injured. He's just not going to do it. He's going to hold his cards close to his chest. And it's the same with Beheaddie Howe. He's going to be saying as much as he can to put you off. Oh, Sandro's a 50-50, not sure about his groin. He might not be right. Oh, Lewis Miley, we're not sure. Like, I'm sorry, you might as well start mentioning Kraft and Shah, who haven't played a game for you for the last 3 months because they are injured. Like, you just throwing curveballs in.
Speaking of that, though, he has came out today and he has admitted to all of his injuries. That is the funniest thing.
Regis has kept... Yeah, but for me, is he doing that as a call my bluff? When the team sheet comes out at 10:45 on Sunday, you'll probably see Sandro Tonali on there. You'll see Joe Linton. We know you're probably not going to see Bruno Gimpy Legs or whatever he's called because he is apparently out until mid-April. But Tonali, I think it's rubbish. I think Miley's rubbish.
Yeah.
Ramsdale or Pope, well, I don't care.
Yeah.
I think essentially Eddie Howe's playing the game of... He's trying to play poker. I mean, if you want to watch him play poker, he's not very good at it because his post-match interview against Barcelona, he's technically laughing.
That upset a few of them.
For me, I don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth because he's that kind of manager. He's not going to tell the truth about his injuries.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Bruno's not actually as badly injured as they're making out and he's on the bench just to throw a bit of controversy into the mix. But yeah, I think we do need to look at ours. And at the moment, we've probably got the worst injury list in the league.
Yeah.
If the players that were injured are still injured, this isn't going to be a very pretty game. If Ballard is out with a hamstring issue, if Nordy's still out with his calf problem, if Renildo's still out, if Enzo's still out, that's 4 or 5 of you, and Roofs, there's 5 of your key players missing for the derby. But I think the lads will put an effort in. Jacques will have them right up for this.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to think though, Kev, what you said on the injury list. It's only really as well Talby, which is the only fit out and out winger.
Yeah,
because obviously Angulo's injured, Talby's injured, Mundle's injured.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've got injuries all over the place. I mean, to me, I think Robin Russ will be back. I think they gave him an extra week just to make sure.
Because I think the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think Elborg's done all right, but I think being put into that cauldron, I know he did well at Leeds, but it's a completely different atmosphere and game.
100%.
And I think for his third Premier League game, I think it might be a little bit much.
Yeah.
That's the other thing with them. You'll probably want to try and leave Sid James's Park with no injuries. Never mind the result, they are going to want to cause problems.
That's the dumb bomb of it, isn't it? And that's why, to touch on what you were saying there before, Kevin, in regards to the likes of Joe Linton, you saw against Barcelona, he started losing his head and he's trying to grab people by the throat. And yes, he got a yellow card, but then he did it again about 5-10 minutes later, and the ref was like, it's all right, it's only children, let him carry on. No, you have to put that back and stop that. Go on, Robin, I'll let you carry on first.
I mean, no, he is the one to me because he's one of those players who's what I would say is naughty.
Yeah.
He pushes the boundaries and he gets away with probably a bit too much. Mainly, I think as well, I know this might be a bit controversial, but because he's Brazilian, I think you don't expect Brazilian players to do that. I mean, when you look at Brazilian teams over the years, I mean, this is one of the reasons why they brought in the pullback as an automatic yellow card. Because for years in the World Cup, the Brazilian players would stop an attack, a counter-attack, on purpose because they had all pushed forward. But to me, he's got a real horrible side to him, and I think he actually purposely tries to injure people, and that is what's going to worry me too much. I think if he is out there and whacking Xhaka and stuff and Lafay and either trying to provoke a reaction and then do the usual stuff of going down pretending you're being hit.
Yeah.
No, I just hope that the referee. I know we said when we were talking earlier, we don't want to talk about the referee, so I'm not going to dwell on that.
Yeah.
But I just hope he's strong enough to make a decision early in the game if he is putting one on somebody, and because it's in the first few minutes, he just gives him a warning. If it's worthy of a card, do your job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. And that's why I wanted to touch on the whole situation, not just him, was similar to another thing that you both mentioned there is Bruno, for example. We know Bruno likes to wind people up and try and play those mind games as well. Likewise, similar to Kev, I've got a lot of where I work, it's in the city of Newcastle. So of course you're gonna have the scum all around me. But they themselves said, even if Bruno's injured, more than likely he'll be on that bench and he'll be doing like a Xhaka. He'll be their hype man to get them hyped up. Which, don't get me wrong, in this type of game, you need that kind of thing. You want to be hyped, you want to be excited for the game, and you want to get the motions flowing and going. What I want to know though is, who do we start up top in this? Do we go for the pace of likes of a Mayenda to see if he can get through the gaps, without keep on referring to their loss against Barcelona? We saw they don't play very close man marking. They play off the man and expect the likes of Burn to clean up sloppy seconds if the ball goes past a Lewis Hall. Do we expect the Mayenda to be able to get that run, or would we stick to Robbie where the physicality is there? And then if, as you've mentioned before, Robin, if Enzo's fit, bring Enzo just off him, head it down from, say, a roof kick, knock down to Enzo, and Enzo makes the run.
I mean, to me, I would absolutely love to play 4-4-2 against them. I think I'd start Robbie. I think you need someone up there supporting him. And I'd love to see him and Wilson together. I know Wilson's not been at it lately. I don't know what the background of it is, if there's something going on behind the scenes with him, or obviously with the birth of his child, he's struggling a bit as a new father. I just think if we went as a 4-4-2, we'd cause them problems. I don't see it happening because obviously they have their three midfielders, so I think he's going to match that up. I think it will be obviously Xhaka, Siddiqui, possibly Diarra or Enzo if he's fit. I mean, it could be one of those that he puts Diarra wide right, which he's played as well. Puts Enzo behind Robbie and obviously Talby on the left. Be a bit harsh on Riggy because I thought Riggy had a good game last time. But they're different kinds of players. I think Riggy will come good eventually, but he's not a winger. I think Diarra can play the wing position a bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to go as a 4-4-2 and to have that two men permanently up top to cause them issues at the back because they don't do well at the back. But then, Barcelona played a 4-3-3 and absolutely ripped them apart.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Kev, would you have some of the sentiments with like Bobby Wilson or Bobby Enzo for you?
I think it's going to end up being Bobby on his own. It just seems to be the way we are going. I think we are going to set up quite defensively against them
Mm-hmm.
because I think Regis is going to have researched how they've played over the last few games, and they are quite aggressive with their attack. So
Mm-hmm.
he would probably rather have an extra defender and then break on the counter. I think with the injuries we've got, you may find the likes of Mayenda do come into play here, but will get used on the wing. Same as Wilson. I think he'll get used out wide. I loved how Rig played against Brighton. But again, I think, like Robin said, it might be one of those games where he doesn't get the start. And
Yeah.
in part, probably because of who we're playing. Not because I
Mhm.
think he'll struggle with it being Newcastle and anything to do with the whole he's a Geordie. But for me, I think it's the physical element. I think
Yeah.
Regis is going to want to put Riggy in the situation of being flung around by the likes of Tonali, by the likes
Mm.
of Joe Linton, because they do like a scrap. Malik Chow was quite handsy against Barcelona, and that's what I think it is for me. I think that's like you said a minute ago. The referee's going to have to be very, very switched on. VAR need to have no distractions here because I
Yeah.
think this is going to be a game that could be decided by some of the dark arts.
Mhm.
Joe
Yeah.
Linton, last of the leaving one on them kind of word.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the right wording, but that's what we used to call it: sticking one on someone, leaving it on them. That's Joe Linton through and through.
Yeah.
And if the referee misses that, you remember what happened with Ronaldo against Matty Cash at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Got one left on him, snapped, reacted like he did, and got sent off. That's the
Yeah.
sort of thing the Geordies are good at. They like
Mm.
leaving a little boot, a little stud, a little elbow in,
Yeah.
and then playing the victim when the player bites back. Robin mentioned it a minute ago. Xhaka will have to be on his A game with the players in terms
Yeah.
of keeping their heads. He'll be fine,
Yeah.
but he will be all over the rest of the lads. Every
Mm.
challenge that they are involved in, I
Mm.
guarantee you, Xhaka will be there telling them to walk away, calm it
Yeah.
down, keep their heads. Because the other problem you've got at St James's Park is the fans are so vile,
Yeah.
they get on everybody's backs. The minute we
Mm.
walk out, they'll be straight on the referee. Every time we touch the ball, they'll be on the referee wanting a decision. And
Yeah.
that's where we do need to be very aware of how hard they will make this.
Yeah, we saw that at home as well, didn't we? Though that they were trying to get on the referees back from minute one. Yes, we were at home, and obviously we were trying to get the crowd up and everything like that. But you saw, like, so as you've mentioned there about Xhaka telling players to walk away. Biggest one I'll mention is when Hume went in with that brilliant slide tackle towards the end. That was a phenomenal slide, but you saw him stand up, gee up the crowd, and then Jack was like, walk away. You've had your moment, go. Because if you get into it in the bite, we know almost surely Anthony Gordon. He's the worst one of it, where if he gets a little flick on his leg, he wants to go down like a little so-and-so that's just been sniped. And then 9 times out of 10 he wins it because he is technical with the ball and he can win, he can buy them. So we need to obviously get it out and then, as you said, walk away. Robin, you had a point you wanted to raise
Yeah,
with that
I
as well,
think the
mate.
thing that worries me a bit because obviously, Kev said that we'll set up defensively. I think unless we've got sort of like, Mukiela, Ballard, Ronaldo, or Sirkin back, 3 out of the 4 of them,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really hard to set up defensively. Maybe a 3/5, 2-1-2 or whatever sort of thing. I think it's going to be really difficult to set up. And what worries me really is if Luke's playing is Dan Burn, because at 6'6" or whatever he is, he goes down in the box on every single corner like he's been shot.
Indeed.
Yeah, for a big lad, he goes down like a soft.
Yeah. I mean, we saw against Man City twice, he bought penalties.
Yeah.
You know, and how they were given is scandalous. And obviously, we've been on the wrong end of some bad VAR decisions this season. You know, whether or not they've been reviewed and gone against us.
Yeah.
Or when we've had stonewall penalties, etc., they've not been even reviewed, or they've been waved away so quickly. And that does worry me that, you know, I'm not going to say there's a bias in the VAR room.
Yeah.
But we've been on the wrong end of a lot more decisions than we've had.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. No, I think it's all important. We need to keep our heads effectively. Just before I get some predictions, lads, I just want to touch on a little bit of housekeeping, which is came out in the past couple of days. So, likes of talking about Wilson Isidore, he's got his first international call up for Haiti, which is good for him. Be nice for him to see how he performs up there, because obviously he switched allegiances. I don't know which word that I'm looking for there. Sorry.
Nationality.
Sorry.
Nationality.
National, I know, you know what I mean, though. There's a specific word and I'm looking for. Ricky's been called up again for the under-19 England squad, which is great to see once again. The likes of Melker is being called up for Sweden for the first time, which is great to see. Robbie for Netherlands. Obviously, Roofs hasn't, but that could potentially be because he's taken a little knock and they don't want to take a risk, possibly. Something could be like that. And the other one was Dennis Serkin has been accepted for Latvia, pending some paperwork, I believe, or certain correspondence needs to be put across. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but he has accepted to join them. So that'll possibly be announced in the possibly coming days. Other than that, lads, have I missed anything this week?
Yeah, obviously my end has been called up to Spain's under-21s again. Ballard and Hume in the Northern Ireland squad. Hertrauda missed out on Netherlands as well. But yeah, apart from half the internationals you missed, I don't think there's much else.
Hey, I've got to miss out somebody now and again. Kev, you got any housekeeping that I may have missed this week?
No, just that we play Newcastle. I'm joking.
I don't know who that team is. But yeah, lads, let's get some predictions on the go and see what we think there. So, Kev, I'll start with you this week. What we're thinking prediction-wise?
I would like a 2-1 win, but I think we're going to probably come out of this as a draw. I just think it's going to be a game that just drags itself into nothing.
Right.
So yeah, put me down for a nil. Yeah, one apiece.
No worries. Go on then, Robin. Since you cheered that, I went to Kev first.
Yeah, no, just give me a bit extra. To be honest, I'm thinking something, I don't know, like 7-2. I don't know if I know it sounds a bit mad, but 7-2 is just stuck in my head for some reason. I mean, obviously, I don't want to
not the
concede.
opening hours and closing hours of Greg, so
Yeah, I don't want to. Don't want to concede to, but I'd love to score the 7. Look, I don't know. I mean, I've just got a feeling that we're just going to win this one. It's I can see a 3-1, to be honest.
okay.
Yeah, I just think that things might click a little bit, and I think after the midweek drubbing they got, I think they might be questioning themselves a little bit. And I think, look, I know players say they don't see social media, but there's no way that they've missed what's been going on the last few days. You know, obviously you get certain, you know, YouTubers, streamers, content creators, whatever you want to call them, etc. In absolute meltdown over this, especially the way that Eddie Howe was smiling and laughing. I must say, Kev, I must applaud you earlier on for calling him Beheaddie Howe. I thought that was brilliant. For the murderers, but yeah, no, I thought I'm I'm going to stick with the 3-1 win. I think for Sunderland against the home team.
Definitely so. For me, I'm going to go with Kev's original scoreline. It's what I've said all week to people, 2-1. I've got a feeling one of the decisions is going to be a VAR decision, and I think it's going to be a penalty to us. And I think Enzo's going to do similar to Fabio Barini. Top right corner and absolutely send them into delirium, thinking, what has just happened? And that I think we'll then just go.
Just imagine if we do get a penalty, right, and Enzo Panenkas it into the back of the net after the last failed attempt.
Mate, if he did that and he went in the net, I think I'd be actually wanting to adopt the kid. Never mind. Never mind.
I must say, obviously, we've got to, just going back quickly, we've got to look at their goalkeeper situation, because obviously Nick Pope was dropped. I should have said this earlier on. So, I know we're probably getting tight on time now, lads, but Nick Pope was dropped for, obviously, Aaron Ramsey, or Ramsdale, sorry. Ramsey's a Welsh midfielder, isn't he? But
probably would have done a better job.
He obviously, conceded 7 midweek, but the penalty that Barca had, that was awful attempt by him. Mm-hmm. He sort of like laid down. He didn't seem to actually dive at all. And obviously the commentators are saying, he got a hand to it. Yeah, he got fingertips to it. But the fact is, if he'd actually dived, he would have saved that. And the thing is, are they going to go with a goalkeeper that's just conceded 7 goals? Or are they going to put the player back in goal that's just been omitted from the England squad who was dropped? I mean, they've got a real tough decision to make at the back of what they're going to do.
Indeed. It's going to be an interesting one. And I think that's why they're giving all the big hype, because that's what they do, thinking that we're obsessed with them, which we're not. If you look at the one thing I will say, which was hilarious, I think once again, Kev, it's that Jake that I mentioned that's touted out on social media. Their war flags decided to take a sticker that was apparently put onto, it was a Shearer's boot or something like that. The Blackburn legend, that's Alan Shearer. Apparently it was a sticker that's been there years. They took it off and ripped it off, saying we don't need this mug.
Well, to be fair, I mean, that's where Shearer won his only trophy.
Exactly, yeah. Came to Newcastle to win trophies and bottled them all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
they named a bar after him, though.
Nah.
Yeah. I mean, look, we should really wrap it up, because it's 7 minutes past 2.
Yes, we should. We don't want to put them past the bedtimes. But yeah, lads, thank you very much for joining me. Everyone else listening in, it means a lot that you've taken the time to listen to us, listen to our lovely rambles about us versus, as Robin likes to call them, the home team. So, Kev, thanks for joining me, mate.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Perfect. Robin, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, mate. And I'm going to enjoy a nice 7-Up.
Perfect. Thank you very much, lads. And everyone, for Sunday, mind the gap.
Fuck the mags.